Okay.
Except out over Glenn's house.
A few early people, in our CLAG meeting, we were going through the rezoning docs, and it included a letter signed by Lisa reflecting, this was written, it was dated December 4th, 2000. And it was reflecting work that Fred, Lisa, and I think there was a third person had done
Mark.
mediating with the Westover neighbors.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about that happy experience?
Do folks remember that we had a meeting with them at the police station and the
Right.
actual police assisted us because they thought that there was going to be violence?
Yes.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fascinating. The
church.
Jesus.
dynamic. Yeah, and I was like literally,
Yeah.
I mean, I was pregnant out
You were about to
here
pop. You
that
absolutely
whole
were.
time.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the whole story, that whole thing. But without saying, I mean, first, like Carol, you were referring, I think, to the dark night of the soul there, where when we got shot down. So the zoning got shot down by, what is it, maybe how many letters, right? That at the last minute, we thought we lobbied the town council, and they were indicating that it looked good, right? We went to each town council member, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, no problem, no problem." That was a good old Boyd network before Don came in and got in and broke
Yeah.
that up. But
Yeah,
then
Don.
the Westover neighbors got all this stuff going, sent like 100 emails, which was a lot of votes for Blacksburg. And basically they shot us down in the zoning hearing, and we were
We
really,
hired a lawyer too. Remember that lawyer? Remember they hired a lawyer who, would come to the town council meetings and just say the worst things about us?
Right? Oh yeah, yeah.
They
Well, it was
did
Skipper was the main one, that hateful woman. And then was it Dale?
Dale.
Dale, the
Yeah.
house right
He
behind
was
my
on the
house.
corner, right
And,
across.
Yeah,
and
that-
Tony Disler. He was
Oh,
another
and Tony
one.
Disler.
Oh, Tony Disler, right?
Yeah, he really did not like, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a story I don't know if you guys know. So I was the contact person during our phone, I guess, was contact when the stuff was, after we actually got through the zoning and we were in all the land, whatever was going on, infrastructure stuff was going on. And it really was bad. I mean, we moved, the whole place was a solid dirt, right? And I gotta say, it looked horrible, right? And so Disler's view from across the road was that, right? So like around, I don't know, 11 or something. I can remember I'd already, like, Nick was asleep and I was exhausted, as you would be, right? And the phone rings and I answer it, and it's Disler, okay? And he's just drunk as he can be, right? And he just starts laying into me. And he's like, the raping of the land you've done. And he just starts cussing me like, and it went on for a while, and I was trying to be, I was being co-housing. I was like, okay, that's really not appropriate language. And towards the end, man, I was like, listen, you mother, and I just stuck up on him, man. Like he got me going. But anyway, and so after that, this is horrible in a way, but you remember a friend of mine, BJ Baker, really big guy, used to cut the grass, right? And so I had mentioned to BJ that Disler had done that, and BJ is cutting the grass one day, and he saw Disler throw some trash in our. Yeah. He comes, because his mailbox was almost on our land, kind of, right? Or it was, but not really. And so he would walk over, and he looked at some mail, and he got the mail out, and then he just threw the trash into our yard while BJ was cutting grass. BJ turned his lawnmower off and ran at him. Yeah. And he was like, man, you never seen Disler move so fast, man. He ran up his driveway. So anyway, I felt pretty. BJ would have never done anything to him, but
That's so good.
BJ did it as a joke. He was like, man, you can't litter.
Is that why there's a no dumping sign on the Westover land bridge?
Probably. Oh man, maybe that made me laugh. Anyway, that's awful. But I don't know. He was a good guy in the end, probably. But yeah,
Okay, so the Daggetts, and Bell Bemis's and others, and Robert and Jocelyn. When you guys first found out about us, how was it only through a website? Or did you have a friend who knew about it, or how did you own?
No, we saw the house and we had been looking for houses and the house was perfect. And then I was
But you
like,
saw it where, on like Zillow or something?
on the realtor listings, it had just gone up. And then I was like, oh wait, I don't want to live in an HOA. Let's find out what this is. Cause we were thinking, I was like, a gated community or something. And then I looked at the website and I was like, oh no, this is better than anything I could have imagined. And we had a friend who lives in co-housing in Arizona. And so we knew a little bit about what it was. And so when I saw the website, I knew exactly, I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, and when it was like, we took a trip, we had like 3 or 4 other houses that we were looking at as well, just totally scattered around town. And like, they were all nice houses, objectively. And I remember like, especially looking back, I remember like, why is Shannon just totally not into anything? like this one has some woods nearby. This one is close to downtown. This one, everything was big and lots of space, and it's just like, like down on everything. And then we show up here and just like, oh, okay. Like,
and I cried on the back porch because I was like, this is the house I want. And then Peter went to the kids' room and he cried when we had to leave. And he was like, I don't ever want to leave. And I could see myself living here. And so, yeah, we wrote a note to Mark and Angie that night and said, our 5-year-old son cried when we had to leave. We have to buy this house.
Gave up your bargaining.
Gave away
power.
all your position.
Yeah, right. You were done bargaining that moment, right?
So we gave more than they were asking. We're just like, this place.
Well, ours was like a weird, if I believed in fate or serendipity, or I don't know, it feels like fate, because I was dead. We had been moving so much and I was like, we're not renting. And we had this whole thing of a house that we were going to buy fell through. And we were moving here so soon. I was like, I have to look at rentals, I guess we're going to have to rent. And I pulled up Craigslist and Malika's post was there. And I went and looked at the website and I remember the igloo video of all the kids coming out. And I remember counting the kids, like, look, there's so many kids here. And so it, like, as soon as I saw it on Craigslist, I called Malika and she was like, I'll show it to you in 20 minutes. Or no, that's not how it happened. I showed up and we wandered randomly into the common house, not knowing where we were going. And Kristen was eating ice cream out of the freezer. And he was like, hey. So he started taking us on a tour. And then we saw Lisa on her front porch and she's like, come sit down and have tea on my front porch. I'll call Malika. I'm sure she'll show you her house. And like, we had met several people before we even went into Malika's house. So like, before I even went in, I remember telling Matt, because he was so lonely working from home. And I was like, there's all these grown men in the middle of the day just walking around.
They must not have any jobs.
I don't know if any of them have jobs. They all seem to be like it's 1 p.m. on a Friday, but it's really.
I was like, you're gonna love it. So so I didn't know about co-housing, but we got the picture within 5 minutes of showing up, I think.
For us, I grew up in Davis and there's co-housing there, and it's California, so I was familiar with the idea of communes. And I was like, I could live in a commune, I could live in a co-op, and Robert was like, I don't think I could survive. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we can find another way to have a non-traditional way of living. And we moved here and we were like, okay, we're now in the market for a house. and I was working with a family doing childcare, and they had like an 8 to 10 month old, and they're Japanese. And I was getting to talking to her about how, how she was, raised. And she said, oh yeah, my mom and all the other moms, they all got together at the park, and it was, everyone potluck style. So you didn't have to cook very much, and everyone went back to one person's house and they all cleaned it. So your house got cleaned by a group of people. And I was just like, this is how life is meant to be, to have more people in your household. Like, why are we separating out into single families? So she and I started talking to our spouses about whether we could buy a house in Blacksburg that would allow us to both raise both our families together in that house, and have our kids in the same room, but have master suites for both of us. And it just wasn't going to work out because we didn't know if they were going to have tenure or not. So we thought, okay, back to the normal housing market where the turnover is so fast that we were at each other's necks all the time. And we were like, okay, we cannot do this. This is so stressful. We're going to have to stay in the rental that we're in now for another year, even though it's going to go up $500 a month in the summer, which is such a bummer. So we'd completely given up on our dreams of moving into a new house that summer. And then Robert decided to go grocery shopping at which one?
I show up at Eats, and there's a sweet car in the parking lot. And so I asked this guy, like, oh man, nice Tesla. And Bill Calfee goes, oh, you want to take it for a drive?
Of course they did.
I was like, okay, I'm not going to turn down driving a Tesla. So instead of going grocery shopping, we went driving down Main Street and had a great time. And when I got back, he was like, by the way, there's this co-housing thing. You might be interested. And so I was excited.
He goes, this sounds like the best of both worlds. I don't have to share my house with another family, but my wife and us, we get all of these people close by.
Yay.
Came home and I was like, Robert, you've done the best thing ever. So we immediately looked at the listings and toured some of the houses available, and made an offer pretty quickly to Deb and Bob. They didn't have they weren't open negotiations. So they had a good price and we just met it, and then it was ours. And we were so relieved to get to move in, and it's been so much better than, this is really what we were looking for, was something more like this than a traditional setup. So we're really grateful.
That's so funny about Bill Calfee, because remember, didn't he have a goal of like giving a ride a day, a test drive a day or something for a year? Like, but I didn't know he was just accosting strangers in parking lots. That's so great.
Can we hear from Dawn?
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
Your creation story.
My what story?
Creation story. We're sharing SLV.
SLV creation.
Yeah, I kind of told it. You weren't there, Melanie. You had gotten there a little late, but at the picnic, at the happy hour, I kind of told the story about how I found this place and kind of just stumbled upon it in Eats, actually, too. It was in Eats where it happened. So.
Okay. Well, have we got to sign up at Eats now if anybody's interested?
What about Dave and Kelly?
You're in shadow there. You guys are like,
Yeah, that's some. I can't hide.
you guys are like in the witness protection.
You are in the witness protection.
Witness protection program.
They're being interviewed on 60 Minutes in shadow. Whistleblowers.
Just moving across the pedway won't really get you whatever.
About your crimes.
This is what happens when you turn a bedroom into an office. There's no light from the ceiling.
No light.
And the light's all in weird places. But yeah, I mean, we really found the place through, Scott and Melanie that are over there. They're over there on my screen.
I gotta move them there because they're up here.
Move them there.
So yeah, and it was always fun to come. I always found it fun to come to Shadow Lake and constantly go to happy potlucks. So many potlucks. I feel like I went to a potluck like every time I visited. I miss potlucks. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we, I mean, I'm sure the whole Lisa's house being on the market it was actually quite useful because we all went on a family vacation in December, and my parents came to Thailand, and we all met in Thailand. And at that point, Lisa's house had been on the market I think for maybe 6 months, even at that point. And we were like, oh man. And then after that, we all sort of talked about what it would be like and could we live next door to each other? I think the conclusion was no. And then we decided, well, we got to try anyway. Trump is becoming president. That was a great thing. And so, yes, we went home and we like, and then we tried to like buy a house from New Zealand, which is, don't try to do that. Don't buy a house from another country. It's a bad idea. And then remember Christine lived in this house for 6 months?
Oh, yeah.
And then I sent this like sad email to all of you saying, it's been 6 months that I've been living in my parents' house and turf them out, and they're going to turf me out by Christmas. Does anyone have anywhere for us to live? And Christine was like, come live by my house. And so we bought her house back from her. And and now we're moving to another house. We've seen a lot of houses in the time that we've been here.
It's good practice, because when we didn't think this house was going to be available, we thought about every house. We thought about Janine's house. We're like, we could fit
Jeannie's
there.
house.
We thought about Leslie's house currently. We're like, oh, we can fit.
Yeah,
there.
we
could-
definitely toured.
We thought about
Donna
Barry's
Blaze,
house. We're like, yeah, we can
Barry's
fit Barry's
townhouse.
townhouse. Like we were gonna do, we're like, yeah, wherever.
Robert and Jocelyn's house, we were like courted to try and buy that at one
We were
point.
courted to buy it.
That was a year before you guys bought it. So anyway, and now
we're here.
now we're moving to our next SLV home. So
We're gonna work our way through. We're gonna,
yeah, so
you know,
just get ready, guys.
As Glenn gave you the SIPS house manual that I'm sure he still has, like in the drawer.
We are waiting for our, every time I go in there, he points out something different and then mumbles about like different electrical.
Don't worry about
and
the
I'm like,
popping
"What?"
noises at night.
Like, well, I've this thing and I'm like,
I showed them the
like a
movie.
house of cards one day. We're all
Is
gonna be like,
Glenn gonna show up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, say
better.
several
has to
months
come
from
back.
now, in the middle of the night, he's gonna come up and he's gonna turn a couple knobs in a couple places, and he's like, yeah,
Here to check on the steps.
yeah, and he's just gonna fix it a little bit.
I mean, the very fact that the system has a dehumidifier and a humidifier.
No,
both
it doesn't have,
in the
a,
same
doesn't have a dehumidifier. But
Oh, sorry. See, I already got it wrong. I don't. What are we gonna do, Dave?
as a humidifier, we definitely don't need, as Leslie
When-
will tell you.
Glenn, did Jerome ever show you the schematic he drew up to mess with you? That was like a plan of your two duplexes side by side, and it was like this fake schematic of like entitled "Secret Plan to Steal Glenn's Energy."
Well, that is another thing we did. We gave up on early was we said, why do we all have to have our own heat systems? And why do we all have to have our own? Why don't we have one furnace for both sides of the duplex and just split the cost? Because I'm sure it would be big enough to heat up. This isn't that big of a house. And then town code said, you really can't do that. You know, but I'll have the bill for the heat, and you guys have the bill for the electricity, and you have the gas, and you guys, and it didn't work out that well. Co-op, yeah, we were going to have then when we were doing ground source heat pumps, we thought we'll dig one well and we'll pipe it up and down the pedway, and heat all the different houses. Carol, you and Willa Sage are going to tell me. Crack them. Look, they're both up there for me, actually. But yeah, that was something fun. I did show them the movie of us building the house, though.
Oh.
The short film of when they put the SIPs up. That was kind of, which I can show you right now if you'd like to see it.
Yes, please.
Oh,
How long is it?
it's about 12 seconds.
Oh,
That is
Cool. Let's see it.
I won't play the song with it though,
And
because
very quick to build
do
one.
the screen.
Yeah, if you can. Did you give him power? Oh,
No, I
We gave
didn't.
everybody power.
I didn't, but he seems to be doing it.
We gave everybody. I
do
think
you see it? Do you see a blank square?
we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. I see it.
I want to know.
Wow.
I'll slow it down. So let me back up. So
This is cool.
But see how little few trees are between us and Westover? Like there's just nothing
Oh,
there.
that's Westover, is it?
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate
By the way,
barrier.
Yeah.
does it do good things or bad things if I do this?
That's
It's about the same.
Better. I think it's a little
Better.
clearer.
Okay. That's full screen on this. So you see, we there's no SIP companies around back then. There's one over in Radford that our friends run now, but so I had to have a truck bring it in from Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, at $1 a mile. I had to pay them to transport it, which is not cheap, right?
$1 a mile a piece.
$1 a mile for the truck to bring the.
Oh, okay.
They brought everything down on this truck,
It'd
and
be a bargain now.
so then they just take it off, and so our side, it just goes up in these panels, right? And everything's pre-cut. It took about a day. So you can see the roof panels are over here, this big styrofoam and OSB on each side.
Wow.
So the bottom is regular house next to the Jacobsons. And then everything above it was these panels just put together. And so as it goes up, this is all in one day. And then they do the roof parts. with this
What
crane.
are these panels? I don't understand.
They're styrofoam with plywood on both sides. So the roof,
Have Asher and Eli seen this yet?
I don't think so, but if
Oh,
you,
they're gonna love it.
but if you look at the way, there's a big central, do you guys see my cursor sometimes?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a big central beam, which is a big glulam composite beam up here with a pole on each side, one here and one on the other side, that the whole roof hangs from. And so then they just put the panels up, and then you're done. And then so it's all basically a styrofoam. It's a big cooler where it's all styrofoam insulation at the outsides, and then there's this big old hole between us and the Jacobsons, which I hope I swear I still hope that Chipsy insulated that wall. That's where Jerome was going to steal all the
Yeah,
energy.
that's the secret plan to steal all your energy.
Hey,
But
in
in
the
our-
background, you can see the fourplex.
Yeah.
But also
yeah,
the
way back
trailer.
there.
You see the construction
Oh.
trailer off to the left
Uh,
or off to the right,
Construction
rather? Yeah.
trailers.
Yeah, the little construction
The other-
trailer.
The other left.
Oh, it's 'cause
Yeah, the other left. You're
off
right.
to the right, yes.
you gotta shift it.
So anyway, if you,
You did hear that. The whole house is built on 2 poles with 1 pole going along the top.
right. So
Yeah.
Built in a day.
So
Westover looks
Pretty
so
hot.
close. It's amazing. It's so different. Westover feels far away, but right here, I see why they were worried. It's like right in their face.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
really like they were in your bedroom almost. I mean, it felt really close. That was the thing for me for years.
right, those trees weren't there, and they were not
Huh.
wrong to say, boy, do we need some trees, right?
Yeah.
Well, except the thing is that when it was going to be Westover Part 2, they didn't have any problem with houses in their backyard.
Right, exactly.
In their
right.
backyard.
As long as they look just like their houses.
Right.
Yeah, but
Didn't
I
want
think
the
this is the house that Rachel and not Rachel, Helen and
James bought. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. See those little trees? There they are.
That's yeah.
I don't think those are.
So Glenn,
Okay.
what
Because-
number was your house in terms of order of being built?
You can see Megan's to the left.
Yeah, that one was done.
And
I
I think
think
our
the-
duplex was done. If going back earlier, you can see a duplex for a second.
Yeah, and you see that the Cowans, well, it used to be the Cowans, whatever.
Right.
Jeannie's, Sherry's house was done. The-
When was yours started, Glenn and Leslie?
Let's see. The fall of 2001. We moved in July of 2002.
Okay.
This might have been spring of 2002. Actually, I can probably look at the date it was done. There's probably some.
Looks pretty wintry.
Yeah, there's not trees. There's not leaves on the trees.
That's so probably, I bet,
But
January, February.
Will and Lisa, we were moved in at this point, right?
We were, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, see, I don't know. I would have
We were-
said no because I didn't get to see it. Maybe I was at work. I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think I went away. I came back and the house was there.
Yeah.
I was
you
like,
know,
damn.
No, we were kind
Yeah.
of, we were around for that.
Right. Oh, yeah, I didn't see it.
Hey,
Sha-
Glenn. Hey, Glenn, I was really glad that you got to do that. You and Leslie
Yeah.
got to do that because I know you really wanted to do something right, about the buildings, about maybe get gas lines in or do something good. And I know you must have gone through a lot to pull off the only house with the SIPs and you did it, man. You must have had to cut through some stuff to pull that off. So
It was a hassle. And I do think that this is like probably one of the very few houses that is stick built on one side and SIP built on the other side and has exactly the same number of people in it and the same number of kids and faces the same orientation. And we were at one time we were trying to put together like an energy for the first couple of years. I tracked, the Jacobsons against our energy use and all this other stuff. And it was pretty interesting, but I got a kick out of it. And I'm still really glad we did it, but you still see like on winter days is when you can still see the difference, but other than that, it's been,
Yeah.
it was fun. I don't know.
We
I don't know if it
look
was fun for
across
you.
to
guys.
your
It was
house,
fun for me.
and we can see when it has been snowing, the Jacobson's house, the roof is bare. Your house still got a covering of snow on it. It's so well insulated, and that goes for days and days.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't worry about it, Dave and Kelly. The pops upstairs, I think, are okay. Don't worry about all those noises.
They only wake you up about every other week. There's a big sound.
It sings. No way. It like sings to you.
No, it goes. Pop, 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 pop.
Glenn, they haven't closed on your house.
Don't worry, they have other pop, 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 pop in their house.
What is the physics behind that? Why does it make that popping?
Well, so the interior walls are not load bearing. All the load is borne by the structural insulated panels, right? So all of the roof load and everything is on the outside. So all of the interior walls are kind of decorative. They don't really need to be there, but they're nailed up against the outside wall. So as there's motion between the outside and the inside walls, as the house kind of moves or something, there's just a little bit of, friction between the plywood. And that's how I explain all the things. That's how I explain it to myself. Is that there's just a little bit of moving between there's the upper part of the wall is kind of just rubbing against the roof.
Doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it catches a little bit. And it transmits pretty well through the plywood and makes a big sounding board type of thing.
If we're to keep it in SLV history, Xiaojian we have an SLV YouTube account, which I don't know, we need to ask her how she can transfer that to anybody. I mean, we can all see it, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm just thinking that if you are sending is it a link? If you send it to Xiaojian and say, Melanie asked to put this up on YouTube, we can keep it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a file.
No, it isn't. So
it is.
Would be good.
It just makes me wish we had taken more video.
Yeah. And what I can remember of that time right there, what brings back in my memory is, we had tons of little kids. Okay. So like everything was little kids. I mean, really like it's almost always been since, even now. Right. And however, so what I remember is I felt like I lived in a fishbowl because all of these neighbors who had been, at certain points had been ugly. Okay. I'm sure they're fine in their lives, but they were ugly to us, so I had this, like living in a fishbowl. At the same time that it was solid mud. It was just mud, like almost everywhere. And so the kids were muddy, and like my car was muddy, and all my shoes were muddy. It was just mud central, Anyway, that was it. But still, on top of that, the moment we moved in, it was exactly like Donna Belay had made us think about. It was like every single day I'd come home, we'd all kind of come home from work, and there would be a party on somebody's porch, man. And the kids would be running around, and we would just be, you know, having a cocktail or something and sitting on the porch. And it was truly like, we can always kept saying, like, this is like camp for parents. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just couldn't care less. I actually couldn't care less about Westover at that point, or you know, or the mud or anything like that. It was just paradise. Yeah. There you go.
It's been an hour. I don't know if how we I mean, some of you could go on talking, but I'm not sure how we officially sort of say goodbye. There's some ritual that we can do on YouTube. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, Kelly, isn't there some
Don't put it.
I should know this. I'm supposedly know everything about Zoom for work.
well, we didn't have a chat. You didn't tell us what you want. How do we put it? You to. Have we done anything to wrong you, Glenn, that we need to, you know, you need to solve us?
Airing of grievances.
Yeah, grievances. And Don, we want to like leave with you with.
Oh, we don't have enough time.
Oh.
Can I say something though about airing of grievances? So for a totally different reason, I decided I had to go dip into the SLV meeting minutes today because I was trying to find something. And I was just scrolling through about 2 years of plenary meeting minutes, and there were some meeting minutes from the dark times. And I was like, oh God, I'm so glad we're not in that space, you know, anymore.
That was my second question I was going to ask the new arrivals. Like, when was the first oh shit moment you had when you came?
Oh, maybe we made a terrible mistake. Yeah.
What have we done?
I mean, Malika was really like,
Sorry about
Malika and Just Dave were really very honest with us, and like warts and all. And we just fell in love with SLV, like love at first sight, where you fall in love and your parents are like, are you sure? And we're like, I don't care. This yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, but and I will say of the old timers that many of you on this call, you were upfront and honest and answered any questions we had. But I look back and noticed that no one like rushed in to tell us how to think or what the narrative should be or what we should, like, what's the story and what's all, like, people weren't gossiping or like telling us the whole history. And afterwards, I really came to appreciate that like the people who have been here a long time, I think you modeled that for me. Other people who maybe were not as familiar with the community were in a rush to tell us the whole story, but I look back and like many people here just let us figure it out and get to know for ourselves. And I thank you. That was cool.
It's amazing to have you guys living here. I gotta say, all of the families that have moved in over the last few years, it's been really wonderful to have you here too. I know it's hard to say goodbye to people that have been here for a long, long time too.
But Lise, remember we promised to hate the Daggets because we were so pissed off that the Amanis were moving away. We're like,
honestly, I considered it a miracle because when Malika left, she took a part of my heart out of my chest.
Yeah.
And then when you guys moved in, with you guys being who you are and your wonderful, amazing, beautiful kids, and I was just like, it's all good. It's okay. This is okay. Because very, very difficult to find anybody who could possibly make up for the Amanis leaving. You did a pretty good job.
But then we were laughing because one night I'm sure that we were all sitting around playing cards and we were, you know, drinking, and I was like, man, no, hold up, they're just a younger, better version. Yeah, that's what I told Dave later. I was like, they're just a younger, better version of you guys, so it's all good.
The thing that you guys don't know here is just Dave and Mike are incredibly like fashionable and everything is organized. And several people have said to us, you know, we're just much more comfortable because you don't keep the same standards as them. So, just Oh, thanks. That's good.
Oh my goodness.
I've got to go read the boys. We're in the middle of Lord of the Rings, but Don, Glenn, it's been so fantastic to get to know you in this time, and thank you for all you've done to make this place so special.
Yeah.
Definitely be missed, and I think it's the kind of thing that in a life even of decades, this chapter is a chapter that you'll hopefully look back on fondly. And we, as you know, will continue to tell stories about you even behind your backs when you're not both positive and otherwise. So thank you for everything.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
gonna be, this is hard. It's gonna be a really hard time to move, but
yep.
But
Don, are you already out of your house?
98.45%. I still have like a tiny bit to do, and tomorrow is when I'm kind of turning it over. I have a little bit of stuff still left in my storage unit down below, but everything's under control. You know, I'm feeling good about it. Everything's looking good. So
And
yeah, Glenn,
Don,
you look like a mess, man. I don't know what you're up to in there.
He needs to borrow your hand truck.
I gotta get where's the screen background stuff? I gotta change.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all having real backgrounds. I think you're all got real backgrounds. Oh, is that Alan Moore?
Yeah.
Are you there, Alan? Anyway, most of you, thank you for coming. I'm
There he is. Well, there he was.
well.
I think he's trying to say something, Mel. Alan?
I was just going to say I'm here. If I can.
Good.
Nice glasses.
Good. Well, thanks for being part of this. Oh, Carol, yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know if there are people who want to hang on longer.
Willis Age, look at Carol.
Where is that, Carol? I want the buttons.
Oh, just go to where it says stop video, click the up arrow, and then goes to choose video filter. And they've got all kinds of nonsense that you can, because Melanie said we were using real backgrounds, and I'm like, well, that's my cue.
Well, I think Scott and I are going to leave. We were on here. Some of you came on a little later. So we're going to say goodbye. I hope to see you both around. And
Thank you. Yeah, come visit. Hopefully we'll be able to get some of you out to Roanoke at some point. At least I'm not going. At least I'm not going to enemy territory like
No,
that.
come on.
So Don, you're moving in with Cecile and the place she bought
Yeah.
last year. Okay.
Yep.
Right on. Well, I'll come up there, and then I guess I'm gonna get really, really faced at your house and have to spend the night if I.
Yep.
There.
We'll cover you there. We can
Okay,
cover you.
right on.
And anybody come to Charlottesville. It's not
Actually,
as bad as you might think.
Our guest room has the bar in it, so you'll be right at home.
Carol. Well, leave us with addresses. No, I'm just going to go myself and leave others.
Can you leave the meeting without shutting it down?
I'm just going to turn off our video and sound, and you can keep going. I won't close the whole meeting.
Ooh, Willis Sage, I like that one.
I'm going to go and mop the floor.
All right, see you, Don.
Adios, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm glad for all you new people. Thanks for evolving it so positively. And for you veterans, thanks again for getting this thing going.
Stay in
See you
touch.
all in Roanoke. Adios.
Bye.
Bye, Don. Love you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Love to Cecile.
Anybody want to see where I'm going?
Yes, please.
This house.
Nice.
Cool.
Man, that's
So
cool.
Nice.
The houses are pretty close. They're about 15 feet apart, and there's about 25 of them. We happen to get lucky and get a corner lot that has nothing, but they're kind of close to each other. But I don't imagine we're going to have any kind of Zoom collaboration and fun like this. Maybe we will. Who knows?
Well, it's not a co-housing community, right?
No, it's not. It's just an infill community. It used to be a quarry and it's in city limits. So they had to do a lot of site work. You know, there's a big hill back here where a good sledding hill. We'll come down this way and then go this way. And then, but it's all right.
Do you have a bar in your guest room?
I don't. Yeah, I
just
sure.
wondered.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
For you, absolutely. Ponder. So that's it.
Beautiful.
a lot of solar going in, and it's a decent little neighborhood.
Oh,
I
so what we're looking at is the north face, I'm assuming then?
No, it's due south is kind of the way that this crane is pointing. The crane is kind of pointing directly towards the south.
So your solar is going to face east.
I'm at 135. I'm
Huh.
45 to 43 and a half degrees off south or something. But we added an extra panel up there so that it would compensate as if it was due south.
Oh, okay.
And that was
I'll allow it.
That was cheaper than putting it up on a raised. It's a standing seam metal roof, and so
Mhm.
instead of putting it up on, it's on like a 4% slope, so it's not sloped down much.
Mhm.
So model says it'll do well. I don't know. We'll find out.
Do you have your CO yet?
Yes, we got our CO yesterday.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. And I see your curb cut, which means your driveway is
Is right here.
like right there into the garage. Okay.
Yeah, this is from the 1st of, no, this is the 3rd of January. Yeah,
Okay.
or something like that.
Very nice.
So anyway, a few weeks ago, we don't actually have a earth moving device in front of our.
Nice.
The corner of your front yard?
You
or-
said, did you say this is walking distance to the mall or close?
Yeah, it's about 1.25 miles from Sprint Pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
So just go down Avon Street or Route 20 down towards or Monticello Avenue out of the city.
Nice.
So it's in Belmont. It's near downtown.
Very cool.
So
So Glenn, golly, I'm about to feel all sentimental here. You know, I got all connected with Les at the Land Trust just about the time that you guys were getting really involved with co-housing, I think. And I remember being at the University Club, I think for your 40th birthday.
oh yeah,
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
that was a blowout.
That was a blowout, man. There was a lot of chocolate martini drinking that night. Yes. Anyway, I just wow. I'm not sure where the hell, where the heck 20 years have gone, but
Yeah.
I am deeply grateful to you. I kind of often feel a little breathless to you and all the rest of you folks who made this magic happen. And I'll be walking around the hood and kind of feel a little guilty about being able to move in here and not having done all that heavy lifting that you guys did 20 years ago. You created something pretty magical, and I feel so grateful to be able to live here and to be able to be y'all's neighbors. And I have a pretty nifty guest space upstairs that Megan created. So just know it's there whenever you guys want to come into town, okay?
That's
All right.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. We had Leslie, why were we up there at Megan's house? There's somebody who was staying with Megan for a while.
Oh, yeah, she had it rented, right? I don't know his name though.
No, but I mean,
Guy from Belgium.
what's that?
Oh, right, the Belgian guy, right.
Yes, Jan was.
Jan.
Jan.
Jan was great.
Yeah, I love
Jan
that.
was cool.
Yeah,
A little bit of Europe.
we do still need to have some sort of long-term we need a community historian as a work share. I guess we do.
Oh, don't say that. No more workshop.
Yeah.
Archivist and
But we have had a few sort of like really interesting renters that have come through that we're
Can you say that with a French accent, please?
no, I won't even attempt. Not if that's on the line.
Well, then you have to act like you have a Frisbee on your head if you're not going
It's my beret.
It's a UFO.
It's my UFO.
I'm going to need to slip away. Bye. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Joyce.
Bye. Thank you all.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pop off too. I have an old man dog bladder that is asking for attention.
You
Not
don't.
mine.
In a dog.
In the body of a dog.
Nice to see all you guys.
Yeah.
Rare these days.
Without having to like parse out a paragraph or fix some typos or something together. So, yeah, it was great. Thank you guys so much for everything. And thanks for making some time like this. This is really nice. Makes it harder and harder to leave, especially all of this Willow Sage visibility stuff. That's I don't get to see her that often. All right, so let's go. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Well,